Okay, greatness to me, is going above and beyond expectations, finding ways to be successful when you're not expected to, and just putting in the extra work, that most people won't put in. I kind of take this year's team, for example. The expectations were really low coming in the first year with one returner. But all the kids we brought in, we had high expectations for them. And they put in a lot of work, in the summertime, in the preseason, and then obviously during the season to help us get to, number 4 in the country. And that was not the expectation. It took a lot of hard work. It took special people. But, it took individually, 15 to 16 kids to put in extra work. To have the right mindset and to go and achieve greatness. We talked to a recruit. One thing we like to find is what was the hardship in your high school career? Did you get injured? Was there a year you didn't play a whole lot? Did you have a year where you guys lost a lot of games? And having those conversations with kids, you kind of get down to the character and the nitty-gritty of what they do when things get tough. Now, there's been kids that we've recruited that didn't handle it well, but in their mind, they knew they needed to handle it differently. And so those are the kind of kids you take a second chance on, because they've seen the vision, they've already, bumped their head a little bit, and they just know how to get where they want to be now because they went through those, negative experiences and they're trying to make it a positive one. Yeah, our goals for next year, take that next step. We were really happy with last year. We thought we did a good job, but we'd like to have a better showing at the national tournament. We'd like to win the Panhandle Conference this year. We did win the state title, but just kind of make that three-peat or at least be competitive in those 3 areas that are really important. We're bringing back a good group of kids. We've signed a good group of kids, so just taking that next step and moving on.